You're listening to the Captain Jack Sports Show on Northeast Streaming Sports.
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.
Well, hello, Captain. Good evening.
How are you doing there, Miss Peggy? And now, is there a preference of whether you want to be on that side or the other side? Because I always say you're my spot, but because I
like you just where you are.
Oh, okay.
So well, you can't tell, but I wanted to get real started because we're only doing 1 hour tonight. But I wanted to get started right away with a topic that Kevlar suggested to us, and that is what happened with the firing of the Raider president, and then the subsequent statement he made afterwards.
Am I missing something?
No.
Of course, a Raider president fired?
This brings us to deja vu. Going back 25, 30 years in Al Davis's organization, when you had just as much turnover as you've got today. I would be talking to people about arranging an event, with the Raider organization. Maybe I'd be talking to somebody about 2 weeks. This was about 10, 15 years ago, before Al passed away. And suddenly I would start calling this person and they wouldn't answer the phone. And I called and I called another contact. I said, what happened to Joe? Oh, he got fired. I'm like, I mean, this is a theme that has been going through this organization for years. Hi, Heidi.
Hello.
I wanted you to get started with your topic of the night. And I had just started it off by saying this is historic. I mean, we're not talking about something that started under Mark Davis. Oh, suddenly the organization's in chaos. Give me
well, no, Mark can't take that much credit for it. That's for sure. He hasn't been there long enough to wreck the chaos that awaited him. But it is a topic that I know you are much more knowledgeable about than I am. So
no. I mean, I do know people within the organization, the ones that haven't been fired or left. And I can say, Heidi, that what NFL organization doesn't have internal chaos? Can we start with our friends in Washington, Heidi?
sometimes it feels like we're trying to emulate them at moments.
At least Congress and the FTC aren't investigating us. And our owner didn't hold back revenues, which, by the way, now the IRS has opened up an investigation.
Oh, that's who you don't want to piss off. You don't want to piss them off.
All the money that wasn't reported as income. I mean,
we just have $800,000 missing from the parking fund, you know.
I mean, what NFL organization? I could tell you stories from insiders in Detroit, Arizona, and San Francisco during the Balky years. Oh my God. The turnover. I mean, Captain, isn't this something that goes on all over the NFL?
It does. And the NFL or the mediates, which actually I think that's a better explanation. The mediates are always making it out to be how dysfunctional the Raiders are.
Right.
We're number one on their headlines, because I will say this, and I say this egotistically, but it's true. Whenever there's a story and it's sports and it's football and Raiders are in the headlines, it's clickbait.
Clicks.
Bait clicking time. Oh, let me get 1,000 clicks today if I put Raiders in it, you know?
Yeah.
But Heidi, give me some thoughts. And I know we're jumping all around this story. The story's been told, but please give me your thoughts. Here's a guy who's been with the Raiders 28 years, okay? He's seen a lot of heads roll. He's been the general counsel. So he's been watching all this turnover and chaos, confusion.
With a lead mind.
Right. Why does he go to the NFL, run tell daddy, and then, surprise, surprise, he gets fired? Can somebody tell me the logic of going to the NFL? You know how this works. It's a club of 32 old boys.
That's what scares me about it. I mean, what was so bad for him to know he was walking into the lion's den? I mean, he knew he was out. He knew as soon as he opened his mouth.
He was gone.
You know, yeah. It's like yesterday we were watching the news and they were talking about for the first time in 60 years, Congress opening up investigation and hearings on UFOs. And my fear is, what is going on that would cause them to reopen those hearings? So what is going on? And let me go on my tirade.
I get where she's going. Let her go.
No, but you said UFOs. Legit. They are UAPs.
What? Unidentified what?
Unidentified aerial projectiles or phenomenon.
That's the politically correct term. Yeah, but go on, Heidi. I see the direction you're going. Keep going.
Well, Fox News called them UFOs, okay?
Okay. The girls are ganging up.
But regardless of what they're being called politically correctly right now, what is going on in our world that is causing them to want to reopen that? and what is going on in the Raiders to cause somebody to walk into the lion's den knowing he's about to get eviscerated. That's what scares me about it.
They call it falling on your sword. What's so important that he feels he needs to point attention to?
Yeah.
Heidi, you got any thoughts on what's behind the falling on the sword routine?
I hate it. Like I said, last year we were right on our predictions, that were shared privately. We didn't go off on them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what scares me about it even more is that this screams really bad.
Right.
It screams bad. It could be bad, and I hope that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that it's just a little storm in the sea that we're gonna just sail right through. But I don't know.
There's the question from Thomas, Heidi.
Yeah,
You
it's
think
just
there's
that
something underneath this?
Yeah, there's just oh boy. You know what? There's been so much for us to be embarrassed for.
And I cannot tell a lie. I can care less what they think, okay? But I kind of have to agree with you. Why would this guy who's been with the Raiders 28 years, a lawyer, fall on his sword like that? I mean, and I've been hearing that. Heidi, what's your thoughts on what Matthew is saying?
I've always tried to
get rid of Mark Davis.
I've tried to ignore it. I've really tried to just smooth over and be like, nah, they just hate the Davis family. It's no big deal. They're just, whatever. And now watching the last several years, I'm like, oh, there really might be something to that. And I don't like it. I actually like Mark Davis. I think that as many as mistakes he has made, he has genuinely done it with his heart towards what he thought was right for the team. And I know that there are a lot of people that are going to disagree with me on that, but I honestly do. I think he genuinely thought he was making the right decisions at the time, whether they were the correct decision or not. And I would hate to see him go, but the more that goes on, the more I wonder, is there really something to that? And my dog is trying to attack my cat, so just ignore the noise behind me.
Well, Captain, that brings me to my next question about these rumors about Mark. The league is trying to get rid of Mark Davis, and my question to everybody, it's especially the gleeful folks that still hate Mark Davis and will always hate Mark Davis for moving him from the Oakland. Mark is our last tie to the Raider tradition. Like it or not, he is our last direct connection to the tradition. What do you think a new owner would bring to the table?
Well, see, that's the key of what you are saying is true. And it used to be that there are the Raiders and 31 other NFL teams. And that's the way it is. And you are correct in saying that when the ties are severed and Mark Davis is no longer okay, let me rephrase. When the Davises are no longer owners of the Raiders, because again, for those that don't know, Mark does not own the Raiders, folks.
Carol does.
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Carol. He's running her share.
Right. Carol owns the Raiders, and she's in her 90s. And I said this in a show, I can't remember if we were talking about, she lets little Mark play with the team like they did in that Star Trek episode with Trelane.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come home, Trelane. Now it's time to stop playing. Go
Thank
ahead.
You
Prove that the Q continuum does have some morals. Because the Q continuum did stay tell Trelane he was playing a little bit too much and he had to come home.
Right. See, that's the thing is that Trelane, aka Mark Davis, is allowed to play with the team. He can't make any more planets, and he can't play with the team anymore. But when Carol Davis dies,
Yeah.
there is going to be such a large, and I don't know about the laws of California and Nevada, but there is going to be such a large tax on ownership or the pass down of the franchise, whatever. And I'm sure
not if she puts it in a trust.
Well,
Okay. No, she's going to make him head of the trust that runs the team.
But there are things to do that, and if they have the right lawyers, then they can do that. But still, if they put it into trust anyway, okay, the NFL has wanted to push the Davises out for years and years and years, and it's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen eventually. It really is. I mean, unless Mark gets some hooker at Hooters or a waitress,
and he tries.
Yeah, he does try. He does hang out.
Yeah, and see, we're back to what. But Captain, we're back to what Heidi has said. Why is the fire so big? Why am I seeing this fire? Yeah. Why now? Why did this guy fall on his sword?
Well,
because he knew when he went to Roger Goodell. First thing Roger did when he left the room, hello, Mark.
Yeah.
Guess who I had in my office? And guess what he said? Ventrell knew. What's his name? Ventrell, I think.
Yeah, Dan Ventrell. Yes, you have that correctly.
He knew the way the NFL works. He's been there 28 years. He knew that Goodell was going to get on the phone with Mark. First thing. And tell Mark what he did. So, Heidi, back to what you were saying. And I also agree with what you said about Mark really wanting to do the best for this team. I haven't seen any evidence that he's mailing it in or a slacker. Okay.
No.
I see him trying over and over. One model doesn't work. He comes back with another. Keeps trying to make this team good. So Mark leaves. Like the people in Oakland want him to leave. I mean, like the people are claiming the NFL. Hi, Anna. What happens next? We get a brand new owner who does what?
Will be just like all the other teams. It'll be money. It'll be it's not like the song "Money for Nothing" and "Chicks for Free." It's going to be money for everything, and it's all about the money. Period. The one thing I can say about Mark Davis is that, like his father, he wants the team to succeed.
Yes.
He does want the team to succeed. He has nothing else. You know, he is little Trelane playing with the team, but he doesn't have anything else in his coffers, okay? There are other owners that have, this business or that business or the other business.
This is their hobby.
Right. And like I said,
like
the Kroenke with the Rams has his multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, and they're saying that the Broncos are probably going to be bought by the folks that run Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they all have things. Okay, what's his nose with the Falcons has Home Depot.
Right.
The Raiders are the only franchise of the 31, and I say 31 because the Packers are owned by
the city,
by the Peeps. No, by the Peeps.
Yeah,
people that have that. The 31 other owners. Mark is the only one that has the Raiders as his basic business. Everybody else has got side gig, or their side gig is the pros. And once that happens, when Mark Davis is no longer allowed to play with planets and have the Raiders has his little play toy, the ownership of that team will go down to profits overall. And maybe if there's somebody that wants to do things, and again, I say maybe, that they will do things correctly. But again, it'll be 32 teams, and they're all the same except for the Packers, really. But that's it.
You're right. And what about these vague references in Ventrell's statement? Making references to the women, how the women are treated in the Raider organization. And I have to say, what's new? I can tell you for a fact that within every NFL organization, you know what it is? It's a good old boys club.
Yeah.
Okay? It's about the legends and the friends of the legends and their friends and coaches, all male, in an all-male environment. But Heidi, I'm a little worried if maybe the line wasn't crossed and Mark didn't do anything about sexual harassment at a high level, where it's even more. He made a vague reference to women. What's your thoughts? I mean, if it's about, that could be enough to get him out of here in this politically correct environment.
Oh yeah, it takes nothing in today's era of political correctness. The last time the Raiders did anything big about the way women were treated was way back when cable was originally there the first time.
Mm-hmm. And people keep, go ahead.
Since then, everyone just points to Amy Trask. Well,
That's what they keep saying. Amy Trask. Yes, that's our token woman. We elevated her to be president, so we can't be, mean to women. There's no sexual harassment.
Well,
and Amy Trask is hated there.
Right, and
Mark Davis would throw her off the top of Allegiant Stadium if he could.
Right. I was going to say there's a reason why Amy Trask was,
in my opinion.
No. Okay. Based on, allegedly.
Yeah.
Or theoretically, I will say allegedly. There are alleged rumors or dispensation that Mark allegedly does not get along with Amy Trask because of incidents that allegedly took place in the past, and that is the reason why she was allegedly shown the door. I covered my ass on that.
Well, all I know is I saw incidences of Amy being mistreated by senior members of the Raider organization. I was present while Al was alive. I'm telling you, it's a men's club. And when you work with a bunch of men, a woman is objectified just de facto. If you aren't strong enough to take that kind of, the innuendo, the jokes, even the touchy-feely stuff, that isn't an environment you want to be in.
Peggy, I don't want to hear from you. Go get me a sandwich and some, add some more something to drink.
And some beer.
Bring me a sandwich and bring him another beer.
Bring him another beer. Listen, if a woman is going to work in that environment, she can't wear her feelings on her sleeve. But it crosses the line when it's forced and coerced by any means. Okay?
Now,
any type of that.
The one question I have is, if the Raiders go down for something like that, alleging that there is something behind it, what the heck are they going to do with our friends in Washington?
But see, that's the point. They got rid of Richardson in Carolina, but that is the only person to be hung from the yardarm. I'm using sailor talk here.
But wait a minute, Captain. Let's roll the videotape. They didn't really get rid of Richardson. They just suggested that if he didn't sell the team, they would vote him out. The only person I've ever seen voted out in my lifetime of 50 years is Eddie DeBartolo, right? Who was told it was a vote taken and he had to sell that team.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't see him get rid of anybody.
Well, but they basically said, like when Eddie's friends with the guys with the pug noses and the scars on the face, came up to Hey Eddie, it would be a good idea if you like laid low for a little while while me and Vito and the boys talk amongst ourselves. You know what I'm saying, Eddie? But so that's what that happened.
But they had a
because of
vote.
his guys.
But they
Right,
voted on that.
right.
They did not vote on Richardson.
But they coerced him, whether it was voted upon or not. It was a coercion. It was a coercion.
May I ask a question here? And I'm asking this as a young football fan.
You're so
What
funny.
happened with Georgia Frontieri?
Well, when Carol Rosenblum died and she inherited the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nothing really happened.
And she was, I mean, she
said
didn't want to leave and she had to leave.
Well,
right? I'm asking right now to educate me.
The rumor was that she got tired of running the team because she had some health issues. Now, the health issues were real. Now, whether that was a cover story or not, I don't know. You know, these boys have good PR departments, you know, being big in bank. But I understood that Georgia Frontier had a minor stroke.
Yeah,
and
I remember
that she had a stroke, and it was shortly after that it was an announcement that she was going to sell the team. So I'm not sure, you know, right now I'm not sure what the scenario is going to be. But to me, if Snyder can stay, Mark can stay. And I don't understand why we're even talking about this. Didn't they just fine Snyder $10 million?
And that's it.
And he's still being a bad boy.
Right. But at least he's not getting rub and tugs in Florida like our boy Kraft, you know? So
that he's been caught with.
Before she died from cancer,
allegedly.
she sold the team, I think. I'm gonna look that up. I know she eventually died of cancer, but I thought she was alive when she sold that team. I mean, a woman, and isn't a woman? Martha gave up her ownership, turned the team over to one of her sons or something. So I was thinking there was another woman owner of the Lions.
Oh, well,
right?
there was, Claire McCaskill was the owner for the Bears.
And then down in New Orleans.
Right. And then Ford, the daughter or the thing was the daughter of the Fords owned the Lions, and they basically there were women owners, but they were basically kind of, you know, shoo lady, you bothering me, you know, go away, you know, let the boys. And again, I'm not saying, because it is true what you're saying, Peggy. I'm not downplaying it. It's that like, go away, lady, you're bothering us, okay? So
you gotta be time enough for the men in the men's environment. I mean, you just have to be time enough for them, and smarter, and you can't be sensitive. But Heidi, it did disturb me that he did make a reference to the way women are treated inside the Raider organization. I know for a fact that that's a true statement. Okay,
I have an inkling that it's, as you probably would agree, is the same in every organization.
Thank you for correcting me, David. I did say there's 28 with a question mark. 18 years is still a long time to be with the Raiders at the turnover rate that they've had.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the turnover is just astounding. Look, we couldn't even keep Madden. Think about it. How far does this go back? People being run out of the organization. Not really run, deciding,
I think it's time for you to go, John. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a lot going on with him, though, on a personal level as well.
Yeah, John had health issues, and he also wanted to spend more time. He finally won the Super Bowl, and that was his, you know, I got to the mountain, I climbed the mountain, now I can look down and relax. So, I mean, I get that. But there are, like you said, there are members of the organization that have been run. And I won't say other because I know some personally
that have been run out.
That have been run out of the organization.
Mm-hmm. And this was under Al and under Mark.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, the tradition continues. And don't tell me it doesn't happen in other NFL organizations. It is a club. That means if I wake up one day and I don't like you anymore, you're gone.
Peggy, please like me.
At will employment. Now, if they're talking about that, that's one thing, Heidi. But if they're talking about illegal stuff, and there's always been the rumor about marking drugs. Okay,
well, yeah,
a very strong rumor, allegedly.
Allegedly, with alleged white.
That's
stuff.
Why I called it a rumor.
Allegedly.
Well, I know it's a little bit more than alleged.
I'm just covering my ass. I'm covering my ass, Peggy.
Oh, yeah, and I understand, but I can actually say, that rumor has been around for a little while. I mean, there's other stuff going on inside the Raider organization. I think with the sudden departure of Bourdain, that got it started. That brought it to people's attention. What do you think, Heidi? I mean, that was a clean sweep because there's two other guys that went out the door with Bourdain too, wasn't it?
I believe 3 altogether. Right. In a short period of time, I believe there was 3 altogether that went with him.
That was just last summer.
Yeah.
And that one was easy enough to write off. He ushered the team through the move. He wanted to go fishing with his grandson and just retire and move on to another thing, golf a lot. Just, it was just his time to go out to beautiful pasture. And it hasn't stopped. It just keeps coming.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Heidi. I mean, don't for a minute think that I'm not with you on this. Why is it continually a problem inside that organization? It's no longer 1982, it's 2022, and you cannot do whatever you please anymore. That's what I got to say about be smart. Mark, you got to get this thing together. If you have to bring in a professional manager, a professional management consultant to give you next steps, let's see it done right now. You got to get that that organization together. You cannot allow the Raiders to become the butt of the joke. And I think we've had enough of that. He needs to get his act together. We cannot continue to be a headline. And that transitioned us into our next topic of discussion, which is the Bryan Edwards trade. Captain, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I was asked about it, and I have feelings about I'm very sorry to see him go. But here's the big but, like the big but that I'm sitting on right now in my big chair about Bryan Edwards, is that, first off, if you go back to that draft, they had 3 picks in the 3rd round. And if I, to semi-quote Mayock, he said, having 3 third-round picks is like stealing candy from a baby. Okay, well, of those 3 third-round picks, Lynn Bowden Jr., I think might have put his pads on once or twice before he got shipped off to Miami, and he's a decent part of that team. Edwards was the second one, and Tanner Muse, the converted safety to linebacker, was the third, who never made the field, nor did Bowden on a real game. Edwards was the most dynamic of all those, but of all those players, I only recall him being functional for the first game against the Ravens, where he was a big part of that game. And I think he had 3, maybe 4 touchdowns in his career. He just didn't pan out. And it was a waste of his dynamic. It was a waste. He was that Terrell Owens type of receiver that was fast and strong and can high point a ball. And he just never showed up. And it's unfortunate that didn't happen. You just didn't show up.
All the potential in the world.
I mean,
I would have been. I would have been interested to really see him after, for one more year. But then you run the risk of what happens if he really doesn't pan out and you get nothing for him.
Right.
But I would have liked to see what McDaniels could have done with him. It would have been nice. But I think that we've come up with some decent replacements.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. I think that if McDaniels wanted him on that team, he would still be here.
Exactly. There you go. See, this is what people don't understand. When you're a new coach and you come into a new organization, fresh, brand new, if you got a brain and a half, and we're talking about experienced professionals here, these are no newbies. You spend a month in a film room just watching, isolating certain players on field, because you're trying to evaluate, are these the kind of players that I want to keep on my team? And the one thing I noticed about Edwards, all the potential in the world, disappeared in too many games for me. And I don't know why. Now, see, it was hard to blame him because we had, Mr. One-dimensional thinking for our offensive coordinator. So I'm not sure plays were designed for him to be open. But the fact of the matter is, especially down the stretch, just like Ngakoue, where are they? I thought Edwards was injured. There were a couple of games where I actually thought Edwards was hurt, that he didn't even suit up because he totally silent. And don't tell me Derek Carr wasn't looking for him. I mean, I just don't know. I think McDaniels watched the film.
Yeah.
And I think
that's go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then there's just still the factor he's part of the old regime, and no coach wants that old regime still sticking around. Especially, I'm sorry. There were some good draft picks by Mike Mayock's stint. I think. Who?
Wait a minute now. Cold is still here.
Well, wait.
The new coach wants to bring in his guys.
Well, but wait a second. He already has his guys there. Okay. Renfro is Edelman. Okay. Waller is the dynamic tight end. Now, granted, he needs a cohort in crime with him, but he's already got the dynamic tight end, and he's got a number one receiver in Adams. Where are you going to throw the ball to other than those three guys? And Edwards, if he was lucky, was going to be the 4 option. So they got
Zay Jones was on the field too.
Well, okay, but yeah,
there was a lot of those games where I saw Carr, making his progressions past Edwards to Jones. I don't know whether Jones was the second or third, or some plays he was the third, second. I don't know. But I know a lot of times Edwards in the progression was passed right over because it wasn't open.
But the thing, like I say, if you go back to the offense that McDaniels runs, he runs a lot of 2-back set with I think it's called 21 personnel. I might be mistaken. It's 2 wides, a tight end, and the two running backs, right? If you're running that set, because he does run a lot of fullback with Johnson, which is why Johnson was brought over. Okay, you got Adams, you got Renfro in the slot, and you got Waller. You got no room for, or it's a luxury for having Edwards there. And I think that they figured out that this is a commodity, and we're going to get what we can for this commodity, and they trade him at the high point, because if he stays on the team this year, he gets even less production this year, so they got a decent pick out of it. Okay,
well, they had to package him up, though, with a 7th-round pick.
Okay, but
what kind of value is that? I had to give up a pick, too.
But they got a 5 out of it. They got a 5 out of it. It was the best that they could do with what they had.
Go ahead.
The Raiders were able to pick up replacement for Edwards that was handpicked by McDaniels, and that is a guy that I've mentioned before is Cole. I really think that he was a sneaky good signing, and McDaniels saw him play on some very bad teams. He saw him play against the Jets, twice a season, and he knew what he wanted, and he grabbed him. He handpicked the replacement, and it was the one that he thought would be the best fit.
Mm-hmm. And Richie, I was saying, mentioning the seventh rounder to say, to induce them to take him, I had to package it up with a draft pick. He by himself wasn't enough. I mean, to get me at least a fifth. I mean, I would have thought he would have been worth a fourth to me, especially if I had to package it with the seventh rounder. I mean, it was too much. It's the Patriot. Excuse me. It's the new Raider way. It's way that their thinking is get value for that player before you have to get rid of them.
And you have to look at the value of draft picks in the last few years. I mean, what did DeAndre Hopkins go for? A third and a fifth.
Right.
I mean, he was part of the fire sale of the Texans. But there are a lot of players going for draft picks that, maybe 5-10 years ago, you would have been like, a player of that capability going for that. And it's happening all over the league.
Mm-hmm. And I hear what you're saying. I looked at that. I understand Mr. Sue is coming for a visit tomorrow. Is this true, or just another bait click rumor?
I haven't heard about a official visit, but I heard that there were inklings that we were interested in him. That's unless there's another story that is better, packaged up clickbait. That is, if he's coming again, I haven't read all of that, but I said that the Raiders were interested in signing Ndamukong Suh, which would be a decent pickup, especially when you've also find out today that Hankins just went under the knife.
Yeah, he did.
And the other part of that is, I would have loved Suh 7 years ago. Yeah. I would have loved Suh in 2017 when the Dolphins cut him loose and he went to the Rams. I would have loved Suh in 2018 when the Rams cut him loose and the Bucs picked him up. The Raiders still don't understand that defensive tackle position is key to your entire defense. You have to have that beast.
They did that though. They picked up Bilal. Okay, they drafted the kids that they drafted out of Tennessee and
a draft pick. A draft pick.
A draft pick. Yes.
I don't know nothing about him. I never met him.
But I know something about those guys because they're SEC guys and they got good value with those picks. And they got Farrell is the one kid, and then I can't remember which one is which. One's from UT, and then one kid was from LSU.
Yeah, Butler and Farrell. I'm until I see them play, I don't know.
Well, okay? but remember they did.
I don't know who they are.
They did pick up Bilal, the kid that was from the Bears, who is a terror. And by the way, there is also rumors that if Suh doesn't sign, there's also interest in Akeem Hicks, who did play with the kid in the Bears.
I wonder why I didn't see Hicks on the Bears roster. Is he a free agent this year?
He's a free agent.
Did they actually waive or cut him, or what's going on with? Is he just a free agent?
I believe he's a free agent.
So they didn't get him re-signed.
The problem with Suh is he's always been one to go to the highest bidder. And the
Yeah.
Raiders have a little trouble competing in that category, especially before June 1st.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right on that. And I'm just, a little bit burning because we had 3 opportunities to get sued and we had money. Okay. But for whatever reason, the powers that be, first McKinsey, then Gruden, didn't think it was worth it. And I just can't, you cannot underestimate the importance of an anchor DT, of a guy that's going to get to your quarterback, a guy that people have to respect. They're going to have to double team Sue. Even if he's not what he was 7 years ago, they're still going to have to double team him. Just on general principle.
Right.
Okay? Taking that one extra guy away, that's going to give one of your DEs some room to maneuver. Okay? That's the value of having someone they respect in the middle. Okay? Someone who has a rep, who they know if they let him go wild, their quarterback is going to be hurt.
And actually, I was looking at his production. He actually had, I think it was like the last couple years, it was 6 sacks, 8 sacks, not 8 sacks last year, but he has been consistent in his production. Okay. So I really think that he's got, the tank is definitely past going towards empty, but I like the fact he's got a little bit of gas there.
And the other thing they've been saying about Sue, Heidi, is that he don't miss that many games. They say he's been pretty healthy.
He has been.
And that you gotta like that.
And he hasn't been suspended much lately either.
Oh, he quieted down when he got down to Miami. I don't know whether he got into feng shui or whatever, something quieted his spirit down.
Yeah, he's mellowed out in his old age.
Yeah.
I can say that because I'm older than him.
But this is a guy who will command 2 players, 2 O-linemen, instantly on the snap of the ball. And he did down in Tampa Bay, by the way, and still had, for my DT position, I don't expect, 20 sacks, 15 sacks, 6, 8 sacks. That's pretty good. What do you think, Captain?
And I think Richie Riche just made my comment for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With Sue there, with Bilal Nichols there, with Billings there. Okay. The meat that we have, plus the 2 kids that are going to be learning in that system. Hankins, if he pops, maybe not. Mm-hmm. I think that we have that because you've been talking about meat. and that I'm not even going to go there, but you've been talking about meat in the middle, okay?
Right.
To go after the quarterback. Forever. And we got that. Bilal Nichols, Billings, Hankins if he's healthy, Sue maybe, okay, maybe Akeem Hicks, and the 2 kids that we picked up in the draft. A draft pick? Yes, because we got beef that are going to be used effectively in Graham's system. And if Sue comes in, great. Okay. If Akeem Hicks comes in, great.
It's going to teach the Raider Nation that the answer to why we consistently rank in the bottom 10 in sacks over and over and over again, 20 straight years. Defensive tackle.
That's a question for you, Peggy.
What? Oh, Sharif. I don't know. I mean, Sue. What did Heidi just say? What you say?
You paid him what with what?
I got to go to the money lady. She says we may not have enough money. Well, that's the case where you find it. Find it.
And he's somebody who's not at the point where he's like, oh, I just want a ring. That's it before I retire. That doesn't really apply to him either.
Yeah, because he got
a ring.
He wants money.
Yeah.
He just wants to get paid, wants to do his job. And, he's just been steady, unlike others Akeem spent a lot of time hurt the last 3 years. I went and
Mhm.
looked that up. Akeem, if he plays 10 games, that's a good year.
Yeah, in fact, Akeem was hurt when we played the Bears in London, which is one of the reasons why we won.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's what I kind of look at when you're picking up these vets with lots of mileage on them. What's been their record the last couple of years? What have they been doing? The other thing is, I don't know too much. I need some education on the Raiders' backup quarterback situation because they just released a guy today, Gilbert, who they had picked up as a camp body.
Yeah, they didn't they just barely sign him too?
Yeah, well, they what they did was they got
Mullins,
McDaniel's version of Peterman in
right?
trading for Jared Stidham, who knows the system. Okay. And they got him in here for like a 7. Okay. Or a swap of a
That's who I
7.
was thinking of us trading for.
Right. They
And,
traded
yeah.
for Stidham, got rid of Gilbert, and Gilbert was fortunate just to be here. Okay. So again, ladies, I do have to take this. I'm going to put it on silent. So go ahead. I'm very sorry. I do have to take this one.
No, they also picked up a UDFA Chase, quarterback
out of Berkeley.
Right. So I'm just not sure. And of course, Nick Mullins. They picked him up in the offseason.
We don't have the big name like we did with Marcus Mariota. Who also was reliable for, a possible 10 games a year, being on the active roster. But I actually really like Mullins. And I like the pickup of Stidham. I really do. He knows the system. Yeah, he knows the system, and that's what you need. You need somebody who can just step in and take over, for those, hopefully only 1 or 2 games. Should you ever need to use that backup quarterback, but that can do it efficiently, and that can just step in and get the job done. And he's somebody who would be able to do that.
They also signed offensive lineman, I think the son of a Raider alumni, Tyrone Wheatley. Offensive lineman. And I
love Tyrone.
Yeah,
Tyrone, my man.
Yes, indeed. And
we got some good genes there. Some good genes.
He was signed May 10th, and I don't know too much about this young man. He played with the Bears. That much I do know. But I like Heidi that we're bringing in O-line because McDaniels has to know that is got to be the top priority because last year's O-line was just I don't even know how to describe. I think it lacked talent at key positions.
And the thing about Derek Carr, and I really, really like Derek Carr.
Of course.
Don't think I don't in any way. But he is the kind of quarterback that can be extremely successful, but he does need that strong offensive line.
Absolutely.
It's rare to find a quarterback like Russell Wilson that can improvise and make it through that type of an obstacle. And Derek Carr is not the type of quarterback that can make it through having that weak offensive line. But you give him that, and he's way up there, one of the higher level quarterbacks in the league for sure.
And Heidi, the other part of this is Derek himself has to pick up new moves. He's got to start doing much more outside the box thinking. Your offensive line is the 28th ranked line. They can't stop grandma, okay, from getting in your face. You already know that from the snap of the ball. Your thinking has to change. you can't sit back in the pocket. No time. So all your moves and all your thought processes have to be in quick execution, quick decision making, quick execution. And of course, he wasn't getting any help from the sidelines. But I think that's something I'm hoping that McDaniels, Cap, you know what I'm talking about. I hope that McDaniels can help Carr improvise much better than he does. Think more quickly. A lot of that goal line stalling stuff that we've had, part of it is due to Carr. Sometimes your openings are quick. 2 seconds after snapping the ball, there's your opening. Because it's so little, the real estate is so small down in the red zone. It's only 20 yards. So you may have to pop that ball out there quickly. I seen Carr miss too many opportunities. He just didn't see it. I'm hoping that McDaniels fixes that. But Heidi, you're right.
Again, you got to remember. You got to remember. You got to remember though that the offense that he is running, McDaniels is, and again, apologies for having to take a important call, but
go ahead.
The offense that he is running is the same offense that Derek Carr had in 2016 under Musgrave. Okay, it's the same. It's the Fairbanks something offense out of New England. It's from Chuck Fairbanks and another guy from New England.
Fairbanks is in Alaska. About 5 hours north of here.
Okay. Not Fairbanks, Alaska. Chuck Fairbanks. I know you. I know it's I know it's a joke.
I love it.
Chuck Fairbanks and Earhart. Ron Earhart. Chuck Fairbanks.
I know what you're talking about.
That's the offense, okay? And he's running that offense. It's the same offense that Musgrave ran in 2016 when Carr was a MVP candidate. It's that offense. So providing that they have the offensive line to keep him upright, and to me, the question is going to be who is sitting at right tackle. So once they figure that out, I think we're good at left tackle. We're decent at center, and we got a center that we're grooming, if not at left guard. But like I said, we are going to get those pieces in around the left, center, and right guard. It's the piece at right tackle, providing that we have that piece to get TBD, I think we will be okay.
I think you're right. And put up what Raider Casper said about Carr having the third most time allowed in the pocket. And I saw that PFF statistic. It was kind of, Raider Casper could correct me. I think it's a PFF statistic. But one of the things that I'm talking about Carr, exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes he had the time and still couldn't make those decisions. I don't know why that is. I think Carr is just by nature a really careful guy. He's just, Heidi, I mean, we could watch it.
I think his character, belies that. He is a conservative guy. Just by nature, he's cautious. He wants to make sure that he makes the right decision, is deliberate, and that is great. As an employee in most fields, but as an NFL quarterback, that can be a weakness.
It is, especially in the red zone, because you just don't have that kind of time. You don't have time to look at your first, second, third. Oftentimes, first, second, as far as you can go before the field closes in on you. And Carr should know this by now. What's wrong? I mean, get that ball out of there. And, design the plays better. Well, we all will know that. But Bishop, I think Bishop says our O-line will surprise. Book it. Captain, is that not the one area where we're going to have the miraculous? We're going to have a Lazarus moment with that O-line. They're going to have to make a huge jump.
I have to stop having nightmares about right tackle.
Yes. Why? It's been a 10
I
year
still wake up in the
nightmare
middle of the night screaming.
since Robert
screaming.
Gallery. Really? I mean, come on. Every experiment, every trade, every time we draft, just doesn't work out. We just
Actually, Matt Marinovich has something that I was looking at as well. Daryl Williams is still out there.
really.
Yeah, and like I said, none of these acquisitions are going to be made until June 2nd, and not even June 1st, because June 1st it clears. It's kind of like getting from the bank. Your payday is June 1st, but it really doesn't occur until June 2nd. Payday is on June 2nd this year. It's when 20 to 25 million, I can't remember which one it is, at least 20 million comes into the coffers for the Raiders to use, okay? And that's why they are saying maybe that's when Bradbury signs. Maybe that's when we get that splash right tackle. And if excuse me, if that both happens, we'd be set. The right tackle, a bookend right tackle to go along with what we have on the left side with Colton Miller, and a cornerback that knows the system and it can be used effectively in the system that Graham will use. If I take that 20 million, I'll call it even. Say, okay, I think we're good, guys. I think we are good.
Now, I mean, we made some complaints about Carr. I mean, I think there are objective concerns about him, but I'm sorry, I don't see anybody out there that I want. Okay,
No.
If I don't want a Carr, who I want? What, Russ? So he can run around and boy, I mean, Russ might have been good, but the Broncos have him now.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he's
Too busy
still going to be
trying
running
to bail
around.
out Jerry Judy.
Yeah. He's going to
I
be
mean,
running around because I know that Richie Riche was in here earlier. He's still going to be running around because unless the Broncos get Lazarus on their offensive line, okay, I like our offensive line better right now.
And I just, when I hear the Kardashians make their comments about Carr, what I have to say is 8 years, but what kind of 8 years was it? How many head coaches? 4. He's on his 4th head coach in 8 years. That's an average of a head coach every 2 years. How many offensive coordinators? 6. Oh, working on number 7. In 8 years.
And this is telling too, an offensive line coach like Carmen Brasillo is going to be a godsend for this offensive line. I agree with that.
Yeah, we shall see Raider Casper, because I don't know none of these guys. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't invited them to the table yet because I don't know who they are. Okay. But when I ask me around Halloween what I think about Mr. Brasillo's work. What about, all of those things? Oh, look at Anna. Anna's bringing in the gossip. She say, what's Russ's wife's name? What's her name? Tiara, yeah. Well, as long as she get to go shopping on Rodeo Drive, why does she really care? Why would she care where he's playing? I mean, Denver, Seattle, Denver. They're still not top 10 markets, right? Neither one of them.
At least she's not getting rained on, 2/3 to 3/4 of her time there. Okay, shut up, Sierra.
Yeah. I mean, if she's even saying anything, but I really want to see that. Now I'm past my expiration date. The milk is getting sour, but
we're both turning into pumpkins.
Yes, we are both doing that, and it was wonderful. I hope you tell your friends about us coming in chat. Captain, we still have to do our AFC and NFC roundup, our predictions on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, the order in which those teams will come out at the end of the season.
Yeah, but remember though, that's after we do our NFC roundup, because we're gonna tease the people by doing the NFC first and then doing the AFC. And because we have the time to do a proper segue, for those that don't know, the Wild Wild West show with myself and Richie Riche and our shipmate that does the garglers and the ketchup and mustard barbecue crew, the four heads of the Wild Wild West. We do our show every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on this channel as well as other channels. So there's your segue for the Wild Wild West and how we're going to have people finish. But we will do that NFC at NFC Fit. You know, it's still kind of. I mean, it's still May. It's still May, Peggy.
I still want to hear. I mean, it's always good. We'll come back and do it in August again, right? Right before
we can do
the
it next
starts.
April.
Yeah.
If we do this year's next April, I bet you I will nail it.
100%. She will have a perfect record and a gold star.
I picked the Raiders were going to be 10-7 last year, so I hit it right on the head too.
I mean, I gotta say it, but listen, I gotta run, and of course, it's great. We'll see you in 2 weeks, back at the same spot on the Wenches show.
All right,
all right,
Peggy,
see
it's
ya.
always a pleasure.
All right, bye-bye.
Captain.
Are you sticking for a second up? Okay, well there we go. Let me get the big shot in because see, I had Peggy on a big shot, so I wanted to make sure you got a big shot in as well.
Oh, thank you.
Again,
well,
make sure.
I'll stick around for this shot, but I do have to make my way on out of here.
Right. But I wanted to give you your big shot. Okay, you know I'm ready for my close up, Mr. DeMille.
You could have picked a day that I did my makeup. That doesn't happen a lot nowadays, and that I work from home.
Right.
But you know, on occasion,
you look fabulous.
Yeah, I went to a graduation last week, so I did my makeup that day.
There you go. Okay. Well, there you go again. We just said goodbye to Peggy, DC Wench. This is Heidi, Kevlar Prom Dress. Remember the Captain and Wenches show every other Tuesday. 9 o'clock here. And if you're watching, this will be presented on Friday. If you missed it, you can always watch on YouTube, or you can always watch this Friday on Roku TV, because we will have this on Roku TV. Make sure you watch it there. Make sure you watch all the shows here because we enjoy it. Remember, like, share, and comment after the show. If there are comments that you wanted to make that we didn't hear or see, comment after the show, and we will get back with you on that. Again, Heidi, I appreciate you being here, hon.
Oh, thank you. And always remember, it's only libel and slander if it's not true. Just throwing that out there.
Just saying.
All right, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. You have a good night.
All right. Thanks again, Heidi. You take care.
Okay, bye.
All right. That is Heidi. Now it's back to just the old fart Captain Jack. So again, I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, every other week it's Captain and Wenches here on Tuesday nights. Next Tuesday, it'll be myself with OG Jack Daniels with Chronicles of the Black Hole. Yeah, Gabe, the show is only an hour because I have to do what is with my co-hosts, and this is their show. This is their show. It's the Captain and Wenches show. As they have time, unfortunately, Peggy has to do the 1 hour. Okay, so we will do that. Now I will probably go up until like another 6 minutes or so. So I will fill that time here. Let's see what we got here. And again, thank you for being here. Again, like, share, and put comments after the show. Make sure you put comments after the show. 2010, the first team go undefeated in their division. Yeah, I know. And I tell you this, and I agree with you, Casper, but I will say this, okay? At a minimum, the Raiders need to split their division. At a minimum. And the reason why I say that is if you go and you lose 2 to anybody in this division, the way the wild cards are going to be if you don't win the division outright. And I will say this, the Raiders or the Chargers are my pick to win the division. Okay? The Raiders and the Chargers are my pick to win the division, but they need to at least split with all of those people. Okay? So there you go. They need to be 3-3 at worst in order to make the playoffs. Okay. Van City, what we got here? DC4 will be an MVP finals. I'd like to see that. Mad Max wins Defensive Player of the Year. I like that. Devontae Adams has 1,500 receiving yards. Possibly. But remember, there's only one football, and there's 3 receivers. You got Adams, you got Waller, you got Renfro. And Adams's catches and yards are probably going to go down because he was the man in Green Bay. Okay. So again, we will see. This is the Captain and Wenches show. A little extra overtime without the Wenches. But again, make sure you join on this channel tomorrow night. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the Wild Wild West show on this channel, along with the MHRT. That's the Mile High Roundtable YouTube, along with a bunch of podcasts with my shipmates. There you go. That is tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, because that's the best time for all of us to get together. During the season, at 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, it is NFL Nation Live with myself, Violator, and Ref Guru. That is during the season on Wednesdays. And we'll probably have a post announcement show of the. I know that will be coming up, so we will have an NFL Nation Live post draft, post schedule, all of that. It might be tomorrow. I haven't seen anything on it, so it's either tomorrow or next Wednesday. So look for that. Thursday. You don't know jack about sports. That will be Thursday. Friday, I'm on a flight to Mexico. I will. If all goes well, I will bring my equipment with me, and so we will have a Sunday show from Mexico, from the Monterrey Fest with Raider Nation in Mexico. If all goes well, if I have internet, hopefully I will. So look for that on Sunday. And then again, next Tuesday, so you know what the schedule is, next Tuesday will be Chronicles of the Black Hole. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching on this channel. Like, share, please. Get the folks the word out that the Captain and Wenches and in Chronicles of the Black Hole, those are the channels that we have on Tuesdays. Thanks again. I want to say thank you to the ladies. Obviously, we had Anna Diaz in here. I have Rosalie Ibarra in here. If I have anybody else and I missed them, I apologize. And happy 1 week anniversary to Gabe, New York Giants Gabe, who was a member of the Galleon for 1 week. So happy 1 week anniversary. Okay, upcoming this week. Again, y'all take care. We will see you Thursday. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you Sunday. Just keep tuning. Make sure you like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Ring the bell so that there's vibrations out of the bell so you'll get all your announcements, okay? Get all the announcements. And, belated happy birthday to Jimmy Farrell. Jimmy Farrell turned 56 yesterday, so belated happy birthday to you, Jimmy. I apologize for missing your birthday. And Rosalie says, thanks for the show. Thank you for being here, Rosalie. And thank you again, Anna Diaz as well. And was it Waller and Renfro both get? Yeah, I think that we're going to have a prolific offense, but like I said, it's going to be divided up. So we'll see everybody tomorrow, Thursday, and Sunday, and then again next Tuesday. Take care, everybody. We'll see you. Thanks again for being here. This is the Captain and Wenches show. I'm Captain Jack. Make sure that you subscribe. And again, after you'll see the crawl. Every $5 that you spend via a super chat or super sticker, that goes to an entry into the treasure chest of prizes. Okay, you can do it via Cash App, you can do it via PayPal, and you can do it via obviously super chat or super sticker here on YouTube while the show is going on. Comment after the show, everybody. We'll see you and take care. We'll see you up over. Yeah.